Hello, today I'm gonna show you some pages from this journal to explain to you some materials that I've used or techniques, so stay tuned. Okay, so the first page is fairly simple. I created an envelope with an old calendar, and this is just a scrap paper that I added a word on it. This is a cluster that I created by clipping various papers. This is a leaf with hot glue that I made it look like a wax seal. These birds are cut off from a children's book, and I added a piece of brown bag. In this page, I painted the background with black acrylics, then I added the handmade paper. And this is a real lichen that I glued on a paint sampler. And this is just a piece of cardboard from a tea box. Then I rubbed some hibiscus leaf and it left this color on it. This one was basically the same materials. I rubbed some hibiscus leaves on this page. Here I painted an abstract shell. Here is just a page print roll that I tried to hammer a flower on it. I added a quote on it and it ended up being okay. And this page was on Christmas Day last year. I wanted to use some of my collage photo papers and magazine pages to recreate the poinsettia. This is a little watercolor painting that I did by guiding myself with the actual plant. And then I did some doodles. And I added some leaves that were around this plant. Next is a very personal and expressive page. I wrote on it and then I glued things over it. If you want to sew on a leaf, you should do it when it's soft, not when it's dried. The circular marks were made with this DIY stamp that I made with pearl beads and a cork lid. This is just some hand-painted papers and some printable affirmations. And I added tissue paper just to cover the words a little bit more. This page I was just experimenting, cutting out patterns and colors that I liked from a magazine and just gluing them to make a background. This page was really crazy. I just started gluing whatever I found. This is some onion mesh and plastic from water bottles packaging. I also used some envelopes and tissue paper. I still have so many blank pages in this journal. I think this will be the journal that I want to challenge myself to finish this year. This is just a way you can add a writing space. This is an old bullet journal page. I added some magazine cutouts, tissue paper, and brown bag, and of course some quotes. And this way you can add it in any place in the journal and write on it. These are part of a challenge I made, that's why they have some prompts. I used some printables, some textbook pages. Here I added real pressed flowers. These are Spaniard needles, if I remember correctly, and I glued them with Mod Podge. And I made some markings on a lined paper with a mesh and acrylic paint. And I added a label to add the prompt. These are some of my favorite pages. Here the prompt was remains, so I found a feather and I used contact paper to add it into the page. Then I added some collage photo around it. Here I accidentally made this effect. I really like it. Gives it a rusty look. So the effect is made by using markers over glue. I will show you later. Okay, on this page I use this water effect. It was made by dripping some candle wax and let it dry, then remove the candle wax. This is the result. I added some handmade papers and a fussy cut that I made with hand painted papers. Then made it into a printable. This is the tea box cardboard again, and I added some real ferns. As you can see here, I did the rusty effect again accidentally, and then I added some creeping plants that were shaped like a heart just because the prompt was heart shaped. Then I added some envelope scraps. The page that was added in the signature was some coloring pages, but I didn't like it for that day, so I just added some dictionary pages. I hand painted in one of the dictionary pages, then I made this flower to make it hollow, then I added dryer sheets in the background, and since it's cotton, I guess, I sew on it. To clarify, the dryer sheets is glued behind the collage photo. And since the prompt was a spiky leaf, I added a spiky leaf and some positive phrases. The prompt for this page was trash, so I picked up some trash from my mom's backyard. This is a beer cap. They changed the name of the beer, so that is a cool find. And I added some tree bark as well and some random finds. The page in the background is just some coffee dyed paper. In this page I created my own background by adding coffee filter pieces, envelopes, coloring pages, tissue, and adding some stamp, and then I added the handmade paper and some clovers. Here I use dyed paper and just created like a circle, like a frame, and added some poetry on it. Then I use contact paper to add these hibiscus petals. And the most fun things are this CD foil tape that makes that rainbow look. I did it by opening this CD in half, then adding some tape and then removing it quickly so the foil stays on the tape. Okay, in this page the main idea was to find a rounded leaf. The only one I could find was this one, and I just added a lot of scraps around it as well and some tissue paper. And as you can see, I did the glue and marker effect again. It's the good thing about flipping through your own journals, because you can find techniques, things that you like. Now I'm gonna show you how this effect happens. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab a post-it note, use some glue over it, and just use any marker. And as you can see, it's already making the changes, but I will show you on the end the complete result. This page was really simple. I just created an envelope because I wanted to add these fluffy seeds. And just added some letters and stamps. Okay, this page was only about glass. I found this glass around the house, so I just picked it up and cleaned it, of course, and then added with the hot glue in here and some watercolor. And this is the last page of this video. This is a hibiscus leaf that I added with a contact paper as well, and then did some multicolor scribbles around it. And the background is some dictionary page as well. So this is it for this video. I will show the other spreads in another video. I hope this was helpful and at least give you some ideas of materials and techniques that you can try in your own young journal. Thank you for watching, have fun crafting, and please subscribe for more.